Self-Publishing Podcast, episode number 127.
This episode of the Self-Publishing Podcast is brought to you by 99 Designs, the online marketplace that helps you get outstanding book cover designs at an affordable price. Start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP. Enjoy a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99.
Welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, where if you want something done right, you've got to do it yourself. And now, here are your hosts, three guys who sometimes shower together. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Johnny, Sean, and Dave.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, the podcast that follows three full-time authors as we attempt to change the face of indie publishing. Join us and our trailblazing guests as we shove aside boundaries, freely experiment, and occasionally screw up. I'm Johnny B. Truitt, and my co-hosts are Sean Platt and David Wright. And as we share our journey with you, remember that despite what some people might tell you, there is no one true path to becoming a successful writer, and your mileage may vary. I feel like we're so off on the Self-Publishing Podcast schedule that the idea of recording an SPP and having the intro and the music and is so odd because we've been recording so much that isn't SPP, and we have totally been all over the place. And I'm allowed to swear now, too. I've been being good on the other side.
That's been so weird. It's been so weird to be restrained. Oh, man. I was actually talking about that with Joanna yesterday because I was on her show, which will air in a couple of weeks. And it was weird because I haven't been on her show. The last time I was on her show was when we were launching Yesterday's Gone Season 1, right? So it's been that long. Like, the world has changed in those few years. But beyond that, we were talking about how I was telling her a little bit about the Write, Publish, Repeat videos that we're doing.
Which we will talk about a little further into the show.
Yeah. And I was telling her about those conversations and how they were going to be on Udemy, so we were trying to be, professional and restrained. And I was explaining to her that it was perfectly easy to do that on her show because, like, that's the vibe. That's the normal exchange. But when I'm with you guys, it's totally different. Like, we're never together without being, blokish.
Assholes. I just need to say it. Fuckers.
So
speak for yourself. I'm a gentleman.
Yeah.
It's like in the Eminem, me not to swear, and then he goes, "Fuck shit ass bitch, cunt, shoobity doo wop," right? It's like you just have to get it out. So yeah. Anyway.
So here's the roadmap for today. I titled the hangout, "Is KDP Select worth investigating again or joining again?" It's cut off. And, of course, a lot of people are going to say, well, it never stopped being awesome. But I have very strong feelings about why I want to punch Select in the dick, and I'm just going to do the walk of shame anyway and be willing to try it again. But we'll talk about that a little bit later because some shit has changed. We're also going to talk about the videos that Sean was just mentioning and how you can get those for free. They're Write, Publish, Repeat conversations, and they're companions to the Write, Publish, Repeat book. It's like a 30-plus part course on Udemy, and it'll sell for $50, but you get it for free if I'll go into that later. And it's sort of updating Write, Publish, Repeat since what we've learned since. So our slightly changed stance on social media, our direct selling we talk about a little bit, the evolution of the Sterling and Stone blog, all the stuff that wasn't in Write, Publish, Repeat. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I do have some voicemails. We could do voicemails. Just a lot. We've been doing a stupid amount of stuff these past few weeks, and I almost don't know where to begin.
Yeah, our schedules have been crazy, but it's all cool stuff. It's like we devoted the rest of this year to preparing for next year, and I think we're doing that really well.
Just add that too. Add that too. That big stupid thing we want to do. Just add it. Lump it on.
What big stupid thing?
Well, just in general. So here's an example. Fiction Unboxed, right? 24 hours of video. So we're like, we put the How You Use Scrivener for Beats series up on Udemy. And oh, by the way, when I dictate that, it comes across as "you dummy," which is great. So I'll say things like, "I'm going to put this on you, dummy," when I text these guys.
It is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I hope Apple never learns the right way. You should just never correct that.
Never correct that. And so we're getting excited about that, and these write, publish, repeat videos will be on Udemy. And we're like, so let's put Fiction Unboxed on Udemy. And so we're like, yeah, let's add that. So hey, Johnny, go listen to all the videos again, and then make notes for what Garrett should cut out. And then we'll need to have bumpers made, and then Garrett will need to do all this and send him all this. We'll just add that on top. Don't do that instead of something else. We met for 3 2.5-hour blocks this week to record these write, publish, repeat videos. Sure, do the fucking Fiction Unboxed thing too. Sure, just do that.
Yeah, and what's awesome about these, I mean, awesome and crazy about these write, publish, repeat videos, these conversations, is that the idea was born at the summit. It was born while Johnny and I were killing time waiting for the first attendees to arrive, and I don't even remember. I don't know if it was born as the bonus idea or it doesn't matter. It was born
a bonus to well, we'll go into that later.
Yeah, and a couple weeks later, we're like shooting them and sending emails to Garrett. Hey, dude, do you mind editing 30 some videos together?
And it was at the summit. It was like we should do that someday. And then we did it. Oh, but then it was the Scrivener for Beats videos too. Like, hey, you're making these anyway. Why don't we try? Because that was a trial. Like, we didn't know how Udemy worked. So Sean was already creating these videos. We're like, fuck it, let's just put them up on Udemy. Let's create a profile. Let's have Garrett chop them up even more. Let's upload them. Blah blah blah. Figure all that out.
This is a joy of working with Sean that I have known for 6 years now.
Well, I'm
been
pretty crazy.
Johnny,
He's even out crazying me a little bit, but I am really, really excited about it all. And the fun thing is, so you think, well, that's a lot of stuff, but whatever. Like, they're always doing stuff. It's not like we have anything big coming up, like writing a fucking book in 30 days again. That's not coming up in a few weeks. We're not going to do Fiction Unboxed 1.5 anytime soon. And
to be clear, this was his thing more than me. He was like, we got to do this. We got to do this now. And so I am excused from this one. I agreed to this one. I didn't instigate. But
what I forget is that Sean then doesn't back off all of his crazy ideas. So yes, these were mine, but there's no governor in either of us. So all of Sean's crazy ideas get lumped on too. So like the sales page for Fiction Unboxed 1.5, sales pages are a cunt. Like, I hate those things. I'm like, yeah, let's do that too.
Yeah, so it's been crazy town, but it has been really awesome. And Garrett, actually, to his total credit, so we were going to just do these on regular Hangouts, right? Like we always do, but we did want something that was better because it was going to be on Udemy, and even though most everybody listening to this will be able to get it for free.
Wait, hold on a second. I feel the need to interrupt. Can I just frame this as, hey, nonfiction authors, pay attention, so that rather than us being masturbatory, we can pretend that it's on topic?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, nonfiction authors, pay attention, because you can do Udemy. You totally should. It's awesome.
Actually, nonfiction authors should do Udemy. It's a great platform, and they market for you. So especially if you're one of those nonfiction authors who doesn't like to market, like you just want to go into your hole and you want to do your stuff and you want to write it, it's actually pretty cool if you can put out a good course. But if you could put out
don't be a dick.
Yeah, if you could put out a good course that's not thin on content and you don't overcharge, which those courses do exist on that platform, and so buyer beware. But just be a smart creator and create something that's of high value, charge a fair price for it, and it's pretty cool. The way pricing works on Udemy, before I get into praising Garrett for a second, is if you send direct traffic directly from your site to Udemy with a special link, you get 100% of that money. So let's say you charge $99 for a course, you would get all $99. If people find it organically on Udemy while looking for other stuff, like let's say they want to build a deck, like and so there's
what if they want to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
So if there's a cabinetry course on how to build a deck, but somebody's consumed that, and then they find your course, which is like, what do you build after a deck, Johnny?
Cabinets, maybe.
Okay, so you want to build cabinets
for your deck.
They find.
I like to build cabinets while I'm watching Agents of Shield. The thing
They find your cabinet course, and it's also $99. You'll get 50% of that because they found it organically on the Udemy site. But something else Udemy also does, which is really cool, is they'll run ads to your course. So they'll pay for marketing to your course, and you get 25% of that. So you would get $25 every time somebody bought your course, and you didn't do anything other than upload it that first time, and that's pretty exciting. So anyway, we wanted to put a quality product up there, but we didn't know how, and we actually had some pretty cool ideas next year for doing something where we would all do it in person. But for this, we really are limited by the tools that we have, in our independent locations, and we just had the Hangouts, and Garrett was like, no, like make it awesome. So we're recording the Hangout, but we're also each individually recording our movies on QuickTime, and then Garrett is splicing them together into a much better looking presentation with the full bumpers and everything, and he's doing it with this like insane timeline so that we can have it ready as the bonus it's intended to be. And so just major props to Garrett, because not only
our working relationship with Garrett is basically just us punching him in the dick.
No, it's just really awesome.
I have more.
Because not only did he agree to do this pretty awesome thing on a pretty awesome timeline, but we didn't say we need it to be this extra awesome. He raised his hand and he said, this is how I can make it extra awesome beyond what you're asking. And that's really cool. That's the kind of partner that you want. And his nuts and bolts videos are kicking ass too.
His nuts are great.
Garrett has some great nuts out there. We want to do a couple of. I do have 2 new voicemails here. You want to play these before we get into the select stuff?
Yeah.
All right. So this is from Chris about a new edition of a book.
Hey guys, this is Chris Daly, and I have to tell you first, you guys rock. You're doing an exceptional job. This is what.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Oh, hold on. There's thing here. Hold on.
That's clever.
But I want to find out about writing. I'm finally getting serious about my writing, and I have a question. I have a nonfiction title out there. Just threw it out there. It's like 20 pages. It was tiny, and I have since added a whole bunch more stuff. I came up with a better title. Would you come out with a separate volume, say this is version 2 or whatever, or would you retitle it, make it like a different book entirely? You tell me, what's the best option there? And then I have a whole line of them that are going to be coming out. But, again, all nonfiction. Wanted to get your opinion on do I just add revisions or do I start something different? Because it's slightly different title than it was before. And I look forward to hearing it. Thanks a lot.
Strangely relevant, actually, given what's going on. I know it's with fiction, but with Lexi's stuff.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I absolutely would not just update it, because it sounds like you have something substantially different, really expanded, and unless you sold a lot of copies of the 20-page version, I don't see any reason why you would keep it, unless you have like a lot of reviews.
If it's substantial, though, it can't just be like you added one little news section and that's it.
Yeah, because the worst thing you could do is piss somebody off. So you absolutely don't want to do something where you're updating a file and people who've already bought it and are looking for that information accidentally buy this again, because that's just wrong, and they'll be pissed at you and you'll deserve their anger.
And if it is extra information, and a lot of people already bought this first book, I would actually argue differently than you say, Sean. I would actually update it, because you've just provided a whole bunch of value to people for absolutely free.
I actually, that's a really good point, Dave.
Because I would be very pissed off if I bought a book like on Photoshop or something, and it like missed, 20 pages, how much could I have? And it missed like key things, and then the guy decided, well, I'm going to put out a book and I'm actually going to give more information this time. And I'm like, well, I already bought your other book. I don't want to buy this book because it's probably also short. But if you updated it and gave me a whole lot of info for free, I would, okay.
For me,
yeah, that's a really good point.
It depends on scope for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of missing information here, and he was probably afraid to give the title because Dave would rage. But
had to make $1 million on Amazon.
But yeah, I mean, 20 pages sounds like it was too thin to begin with. So but it's a learning thing. It's a learning thing, and you get better as you go. Now, I think what negates Dave's argument here is that, and I'm making an assumption here, but I'm assuming you didn't sell very many copies, and so you may as well just start fresh. Now, wait, Dave wants to say something.
I was going to say 20 pages. Okay, it's probably a list of all the good info marketers out there with one name per page. And he can only get to 20 pages.
That was a really sideways. It's like you had an agenda. Okay, I need to find some way that I.
No, I didn't actually. That's how my head works.
All right. So the fiction example.
It's like someone's holding a gun to your child and saying, "Dave, find a way to tie in an info marketer thing to a voicemail."
The fiction example that Johnny was referring to is for Lexi's. Should I explain who she is, Johnny, or are we okay at this point?
Yeah, so Sean's busting my balls because on the Write, Publish, Repeat videos, the second time he mentioned Lexi, like 5 videos in, he just says Lexi. And I'm like, people need an explanation of who that is. It's just Lexi, and then she's been busting my balls ever since. Go ahead.
All right, so Lexi is re-releasing her horribly, horribly titled Divorced book as Together Apart. And and
I'm laughing because I updated the product description of the new one, and you asked me to put in there was formerly published as Divorced, and even adding that line made me cringe because I'm like, now they're gonna be like, well, I don't want to buy that. It's called Divorce.
Right. I hate everything about that, but it's the same. It's the same situation where she's updating the title. It's new, but we don't want to confuse readers, and we also don't want to hornswoggle readers who have already bought this into accidentally buying it again. So if you're going to make a new thing, you need to definitely put a big disclaimer up there that says this is formerly this title. But again, if you've only sold a few copies, that might not be necessary, and it might actually just confuse people. I feel like we have some missing information that makes that a more difficult question to answer than it needs to be, but stripped down, I think that you're probably better off just creating a new title and putting a disclaimer up there.
Lexi's is a relaunch. It was sort of misclassified at the beginning. That was our fault and Lexi's fault. It was mistitled. It had a different cover, and so to relaunch it properly necessitated a brand new file. Anyway, okay, so let me play the other one, which is about textbooks.
G'day, Johnny, and the rest of the self-publishing podcast crew.
Hey.
I had a question for you. I know you guys write fiction, a little bit of non-fiction, but I'm curious about non-fiction in terms of rigorous, hardcore, what you might consider academic textbooks. What do you see about the future of them? Textbooks for students are crazy expensive. Academics have to go through all these lengths to get them published. So I'm just curious, do you think the self-publishing world or the independent publishing world is ever going to affect schools and universities? I would love your thoughts. Thanks, guys. I love the podcast.
I don't know, but I was actually thinking of that just recently, how there's that whole racket where professors will write a book and then make the students taking that course, but you guys wouldn't know this, Sean. Dave, I can't remember whether you went to college. I'm going to make fun of Sean though.
No, I went for 6 months.
Okay. You have to buy their book, and the book costs $85. Like, I was just wondering if the ebook revolution was going to put an end to that bullshit.
Yeah, I think it will absolutely affect it. I think one of the things, I'm already seeing this in my daughter's school actually. One of the it's a whole racket where they have publishers have contracts with the school districts, and they will. It's actually in California. It was really bad. Like, it used to make my stomach hurt. I'd see these books that were only a couple years old, and they would just fill big dumpsters full of them. Like, that's it.
That's what they do in college. Same thing.
It's just it's terrible.
Yeah,
and
there's no way to break into that as a self-published author, I don't think.
Yeah, it's well yes, I think there is, and it's like right now the way my daughter has they're getting rid of textbooks. They're not doing it. Everything is pushed through to her iPad, and there aren't new textbooks being printed every year. They're updating the apps, And I think that that is a big sea change that we're seeing, because the districts are like, you know what, there's ways that we'd rather spend our money. And the because it's like $300 million contracts. They're insane. And the publishers who don't play along, they're going to lose. There's going to be other people who develop the content at a much more reasonable price. And I'm sure right now the apps are all overpriced too because of the competition there. But I do think that we're seeing a very big sea change there, and I think that once that barrier is broken, and now we're doing it this way with apps being pushed to devices rather than hard printed books that are under contract, then that's fundamentally changed the game. And yes, I think then it's about because right now I'm already seeing her teachers are able to pull the information that they want to, and so it's not under just what the districts have under contract, which I think is a very, very healthy, positive change. And yes, I do think that the indie revolution will hit textbooks as well.
I'm just seeing the barrier to when you're considering a textbook, you have to you have to be somebody that has all their bona fides in order, somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about, not just some person writing some history book as they see history, because we all know that's funny.
Well, right, yes, I agree with that totally. But there are still going to be academics who don't have to go through traditional publishing channels, and they don't have to circumvent these existing contracts, right? So it's the same thing. You could have a PhD who is publishing their research, whatever, and a teacher can then therefore, instead of having to just use one of the 7 titles that are okay with the district and they have these contracts, they can go ahead and get this research directly to their students because it's what they find relevant. And I think that's very healthy. I like that a lot.
Am I the only one who feels like a million years have passed since we've done a normal self-publishing podcast? It's very, very odd, but I'm finding myself strangely comfortable and at home, because what we did the summit, and then we bunched them up ahead of time, and then we actually did the summit, and then we came back, and that same week recorded 2 episodes really quick. And
yes,
we skipped 2 weeks.
But when we started this one, I was thinking, what was the last one we wanted? And then I started laughing like right before we started, because all I want right now is to see an hour long of Tucker and Dave arguing about food. Like I want to see that. I want to see that show, because that show would be amazing.
I feel like it was a dispatch from a foreign land, though, because like so much has happened in the. I mean, I don't even think we were talking about Fiction Unboxed 1.5 yet.
No,
we haven't talked about the Fiction Unboxed book and the whole drive we're doing there, which I didn't even mention. So I said earlier that fans of this show can get that for free. Well, okay, so that's a little bit. It'd actually be, if you get the Fiction Unboxed book on pre-order, which it isn't up yet, then we're going to give you the course for free. But it's $3. But what we're trying to do there is, like any author who has multiple assets, you're saying, how can you tie them together? How can you do one thing to supercharge another? How can you create bonus content? And that's one of the things we're doing, because we want to try and drive the sale of that.
And just a note about the Fiction Unboxed book, real quick. We just finished that, and it is a true sequel to Write, Publish, Repeat. It's by no means a transcript. It's written originally when we kind of conceived it.
It's a story. It's a nonfiction story.
Yeah, it's a story, and there's a lot of takeaways, and I think fiction authors will love it. It tells the whole kind of the arc of our rhythm, about why we wanted to do it, the Kickstarter campaign itself, the actual adventure, and then it closes with the summit. And it's just kind of like a love letter to fiction and all that we do. And it's
full of lessons too. That's the thing. Like it wasn't clear how we were gonna make anybody care. Like honestly, like it meant something to us, but like Writer Dad, Sean wrote Writer Dad largely for his family, and it was kind of like, well, we care. It's kind of for us. But it's also kind of, and we owed it to the Fiction Unboxed backers on Kickstarter, and so we needed to do it. And transcripts didn't make any sense. But once we started writing, we're like, no, this is a sequel. Like if you if you liked Write, Publish, Repeat, like this is
You'll
a
love
bona
Fiction
fide-
Unboxed, and it's half the length, so it's more digestible. There's none of the throat clearing because we know that most people who are reading this book have probably read this other book, and it just gets right to the meat of the story, and it's exciting. I really like this book. So,
but
anyway.
stay tuned, because when we have the Fiction Unboxed pre-sale up, if you buy it, it's like the Fiction Unboxed backers are going to get it for free anyway. Like the Kickstarter backers, they're going to get it for free anyway. But most of them anyway. But this is if you want to get this course, it's going to be a $50 Write, Publish, Repeat companion course, like updating it. Then if you get the pre-order for Fiction Unboxed, the book, which is coming up. But I just on a totally separate note, like, Dave, do you know what time it is?
Time for a completely spontaneous conversation about book cover design?
Yes, exactly that. And we all know how important a book's cover is. I mean, hell, I'd even go so far as to say that some people, present company excluded, do judge a book by its cover.
No way.
And therefore, it's very important that you have the best cover possible. Now, if only there was some service that could help authors get book covers. Do you know? Oh, I'm going to scratch my chin thoughtfully here. Do you know of any such services?
I just so happen to.
Holy shit! Who is it?
Our sponsor, 99 Designs.
Oh my God, I love them.
Has many designers, many who will compete to create the perfect cover for you.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Whether you need a book cover, a logo, web design, T-shirt designs, banner ads, pretty much anything you could think of, the designers at 99 Designs have you covered. And they make the process super easy. You start off by filling out an online brief with details about your project, and dozens of designers compete to deliver you the best design. After the initial designs, you pick the ones you like, and then you give feedback to the designers to help them refine their work, and then you pick the winner.
Will they do a Children in Jeopardy logo for you, like a little, like a house seal of approval sort of a thing? Children in Jeopardy.
I don't know. They might. We have used them for a logo, though.
That's right.
The Sterling and Stone logo, which was great. We've used them for book covers, which were all great. And one of the cool things is you can even run polls to get your readers or customers involved in the process of choosing the winning design. I highly recommend 99 Designs. And do you know what the best part, Johnny, is? Do you know the best part about 99 Designs?
They offer many varieties of flavors.
No, they're
very attractive.
No, they offer a 100%.
Very, very well.
No, they offer a 100% money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to lose.
Motherfucker, that's fantastic. Start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP and enjoy a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99. A Power Pack upgrade makes your design contest stand out from the crowd. 99 Designs will bold your listing, highlight it with a prominent background, and feature it before regular listings. And on average, you will see about 185% more designs. So visit 99designs.com/SPP and get started on a great design. I am so off my rhythm that I had that. Well, I didn't have an ad read because those are spontaneous, but I had that just an idea like that sparked me into a spontaneous discussion open, and I totally forgot. Like I'm like, is this the part where I tell Sean to hurry up because we're running out of our 20-minute Udemy clock? Like, is that what's going on?
I'm gonna go out on a limb right here and say that. Or guess that we're probably the only people that 99 Design works with that actually use the word motherfucker in an ad read.
But it's really effective. I keep hearing Steve Scott, said the other day that he used one. Like we know Steve. Oh, fantastic!
Before we go on to our KDP Select discussion, we have a couple of comments here. Mike Serio or Cherio, I'm not sure how to say his name. He said he made a mistake updating a big change to an existing work. The thing I think most people don't realize, people that bought the old version who then try to get the updated version get the same version they got before, not the updated version unless you can get Amazon to make a wholesale change. I think the case there is you have to let Amazon know that there is a new version available, and they will send an email out to everybody and also let them know. GMAC has a comment here. The excess hair seems to have left Sean's head and found Dave's face.
Awesome.
Let me just check. I think.
So the KDP Select thing. Okay, so here's the deal. Like they have been continually sweetening the pot in terms of, it used to be you got the 5 free days, and then they kind of shat on that by like, okay, well, you're not going to get any real benefit out of algorithmically out of that anymore, and then they added the countdown deals, like the idea that you would get these, you get the higher royalty rate even if you lower to 99 cents, and there's a ticking clock, and you're featured, and then we in general kind of said, not quite ready yet, and then they added Kindle Unlimited, and we just continue to hear that this is working for people, and the short version is we've decided to try some of our books in this again, but it feels to me like I hate it so much because it is 100% the stupidest long-term strategic decision that anybody could ever make. It's very, very tactical. It is not strategic at all. The idea that you're going to put all of your eggs in Amazon's basket and you're not going to be available anywhere else is just it
takes time to build audiences at other platforms. Like, that's the thing. If you unplug yourself from another platform, it's just not easy. I mean, I'm sure there are some authors who are actually really capitalizing on KDP Select in the opposite way, because they're able to go in a less crowded marketplace and thrive. It's weird. It's a hard thing with no clear right or wrong answer. We know intellectually how we feel about it, but that doesn't mean that our behavior reflects it.
So I feel like a young girl who's just stepped off the bus from Kansas into Hollywood, and these guys keep saying, hey, you want to do porn for $1,000? And then, no, I got too much integrity for that. $2,000? No. And then, you can't pay, and your baby's crying, and suddenly you got to go do porn because Amazon's offered you enough money. That's the way I feel, and I realize that, I feel like a hypocrite, and I hate Amazon a little bit for making me feel like that, but with these guys experimenting with Yesterday's Gone a little bit, maybe, I think, right, and Lexi, it's making me say, well, fuck, man, maybe I should try some Fat Vampire in there too. I hate it.
Here's the thing. Yes, it's a horrible decision, but you could also say the same thing when we first started and put Yesterday's Gone and KDP Select a few years ago. You could say, well, that was a horrible decision, not putting it in all the other places. We were thinking short term, but that short term thinking got us enough money and enough visibility to be able to write for a living. Without that, we would probably, have sold a lot less books. And Hugh Howey had wrote about this recently, that he was putting some books in KDP Select. And Hugh Howey doesn't fucking need the money, I don't think, and he still finds some value. His argument was basically something to the effect of he would rather have the extended exposure that Amazon Select offers, because he'll sell more books overall than he would having a broader base to sell from.
What makes me feel less like a whore is just a little less is the fact that we do have large inventory to play with. I would feel more like I was selling out if I had just a few books. Although honestly, when you have just a few books, that maybe is an arguably much better time. But we're not putting our entire catalogs. We're trying it with some very select titles, and we'll see how it works.
Yeah, and this was a huge decision for us with Yesterday's Gone, and we just told our audience today.
What are you doing specifically, Dave, with Yesterday's Gone? What's the plan?
Season 5, we are making KDP Select for 90 days because we want that exposure. We need that exposure, and I don't think it was tough because part of me wanted to pull Yesterday's Gone from everywhere and just put the whole thing in KDP Select.
That would have been a mistake, though.
Well,
yeah, that's what I was wondering. Are you doing that?
Well, I think some people would actually argue that would be the smarter thing to do strategically, because here's the problem. Okay, well, here's the benefit and here's the problem. Okay, being a KDP Select right now, okay, gives us extra exposure. It gives us, the countdown deal. We could go free if we want, all that stuff. But also, we're in Kindle Unlimited, the borrowing plan, and you get, $1 or something for each borrow. Now, the problem here is that people that just see, this thing ranking, Yesterday's Gone Season 5 ranking, they're going to go back and see Yesterday's Gone Seasons 1 through 4. I mean, they might be tempted to borrow it,
and
but
they got to pay for it.
They got to pay for the earlier seasons, which is kind of like, that's difficult. But we managed to get a price match for Yesterday's Gone Season 1, so they can get the first season for free, and maybe they'll pay for, if they like that.
So Dave and I were going back and forth on this a lot this week, actually. And why I don't think that I think psychologically this is pretty simple. I think we are holding a lot of cards here, because let's say that the 6 episodes all do pretty well in their ranking, right? People are buying them or they're borrowing them, and they're ranking. Then there's a huge curiosity factor, because it's not like it's season 2. Like, this is season 5. So if somebody sees all of these titles, they're going down the horror list and they see all these titles ranking, and there's a huge curiosity trigger there. Season 5, what am I missing? So then they click to season 1, and season 1 has 700 plus reviews, right? So it's established. It's already proven. Social proof is there. It's got pretty good reviews, and there are 700 of them. So the idea, that curiosity is already stoked, and I think that if you've already done enough to click over to see that, and it's free, you're gonna try it.
You're just knocking people down to the bottom of the funnel then. So you're relying on season 1 to sell season
1. And yes, and I think that some people may say, oh, well, season 2 and 3 and 4, they're charging for it anyway, but okay, that's fine. Then what we've determined is that those people who will never pay for our books don't want to pay for our books. I'm okay with that. Like, because I don't want to be Select forever anyway. So it's culling the tribe anyway, which is fine. But I also think that the curiosity is very high. And if we've done our job by writing a good season 1, then we earn those purchases. And I'm happy with that. But on the flip side of that, I'm not happy yanking our stuff from these other platforms where people may be in the middle of reading them. I'm not.
Yes, that's why we didn't do it.
That's stopping and starting and stopping and starting. So I think both arguments are sound. I think we're going to do just fine with the flow of that. The flow is very buyer behavior centric. I think Dave's worry about people being that price conscious is over. It's a little ballooned. But even so, even if he was totally accurate, I don't want those people as readers anyway, because they're only looking at stuff that they can borrow in a situation where we're looking at that for 90 days anyway. Like, I don't want to have them only be able to borrow books 6 months from now. So anyway.
Sorry. So here's my question, because I seriously am. Fat Vampire doesn't perform as well as it did when I was producing. So, and the way that flow goes is it goes one bundle. Like, it goes from people buy the first one and then they buy the box set, which is the $10 one. People don't really buy the individual books a lot. They do, but not nearly as much as they buy the box set. So number one is, if I were to try that, because I am curious to try it. Like, when I said that it isn't doing as well as it used to do, what I meant is I kind of don't see any reason not to. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm going to be tipping something that's just going like cash flowing like mad. And so, but I worry that it would mess up the funnel, because you wouldn't want to have a $10 bundle that people can borrow, because
you don't put that in Select. You just put the single books into Select, like 1, 2, 3, and 4. The other you don't put in Select. You leave that as it is.
But it would screw up the funnel. Like, you wouldn't have the funnel. Your funnel would go book 1, book 2, which isn't nearly as good as book 1. Get them all cheap. So
if they're borrowing anyway, and that's how you're making your money,
True.
Then they're borrowing 1, 2, 3, 4.
And the rules of Select are such that the bundle couldn't be available anywhere else, because it can
because it's the same content.
Yeah, so the bundle would still have to be exclusive. You just don't put it in Select.
I'd have to unpublish that. Right, I'd have to unpublish books 2 through 6, because 1 is perma-free and matched. I'd have to you know,
In other
undo
places.
those, and then I'd have to remove the bundles from both places, and then just keep them in Select. Now, okay, so here's the second question. Do you guys know, because you've gone back and forth a few times, if you remove something, so like Nook, okay, so Fat Vampire 2 on Nook, can I just basically unpublish it but leave it there so that when I want to, I can just click it back on and I keep my not my rankings, but
I don't
use and.
I don't know, because we've not actually gone back and forth on anything. This is our first time. Well, we're not even doing it now, so we haven't.
Yes, actually, I know the answer to that. We're okay. So first, I'll say that I'm comfortable doing this with Yesterday's Gone Season 5 because we're not pulling anything. We're basically giving a 90-day exclusivity to Amazon first. We're not putting it out everywhere.
Which I like way better long term.
Right, that's
Although
fine.
I still hate it. But okay.
I hate it, but I hate it way less because I think it makes sense. Like, Netflix and Redbox and cable, like they all have different time restrictions. iTunes, right? When something leaves the theater, different deals are made, and I get that there are periods of exclusivity. I would be very uncomfortable pulling our stuff from other platforms where we're trying to build audiences, and I just think, like, how would I feel if I went to go buy a book? I have my little wish list, and I went to go buy it, and it's all of a sudden not there at this other platform. I would lose trust in that author. It would bother me, and I don't want to bother readers. I want to love readers. I want them to love me. So this doesn't bother me as much because they may have to wait a little longer, but we're not taking anything away from them. Now, we are doing that with Lexi because we're trying with a couple things, both Together Apart and Filthy Fairy Tales are getting unpublished from the other venues, and we're putting.
Even that makes a little bit of sense because those are re-releases, those are rebranding.
Right, and that's why it makes it all okay. The categories are totally different. We're not worried about maintaining the ranking and sales on other platforms. Like, we're talking about such a minute number of readers that it doesn't really matter. Lexi has always been about Amazon. So anyhow.
But do you know? Just pretend I'm going to do. So you can turn them off and turn them back on because.
Yeah, she actually tried that with a couple titles last year, and it was as simple as on Kobo and on Barnes & Noble. It was as simple as flipping it back on, and they repopulated.
Because it's also right, exactly. It is a complexity thing too, and the idea of having to do the work to get shit back on the other platforms is just as daunting as the idea of actually, are you disrupting sales or
no,
it
was
a
button switch. Yeah, it was a button switch.
And you keep all your reviews and stuff?
Yeah.
Now here, there's one other thing that went into our thinking on Yesterday's Gone Season 5. We didn't want to alienate the people that were already expecting it on October 15th. That are in other places. So what we have done is we're going to sell directly prior to releasing it on Amazon to those people.
I like that a lot.
And we'll see how many people, and this will actually be a good test of how many people want to buy from us directly, and make that super easy for them. And it'll be interesting to see. It's all very experimental, and whether we do well or fail and fall miserably, we'll still learn. We'll learn.
Well, let me ask you then. So, if your Fat Vampire is unique in that for us, in that series is complete. So I don't have. I mean, obviously, I have ongoing readers in that there are people who are reading them in the middle, but I don't have swells of ongoing readers. I don't have waves like you would with Season 5 and Season 6 of Yesterday's Gone. So do you think you'd try it or just leave it alone?
I would try it. I don't see a reason not to if it's not selling anywhere else.
I would try it.
It is just in smaller quantities. I mean, Amazon continues to be the big dog. But the idea, you still have that risk of a reader on Nook who's in the middle of book 2 and then says, what the fuck, I can't get book 3?
God, that's such a hard question because
You could send out a newsletter to anybody on your list
and say buy it now.
Hey, buy it now. It's not going to be here in a few weeks. And if anybody bitches, it'll be such a minority of people that would bitch probably. You can just send them a free copy if they email you.
I will tell you the right thing to do is to leave it as is and not put it in Select.
But that's the point. Is we are being And obviously, we don't have to do anything, obviously. But we're being nudged to do something that sucks. Like, right? Like, I don't want to be exclusive. That pisses me off.
I would wait to see it. I mean, if you're talking purely mathematicals, we could wait to see what happens. And then make a better decision there. But it's it's wrong. Like, it doesn't. It in no way harmonizes with our long-term plans.
No.
To do that. And I get it. I so get both sides of this argument. But for us specifically, like, we're trying to sell direct. We're trying to nurture those relationships. We're trying to be multi-platform. We're trying to grow our catalog. The exclusivity just doesn't matter. And you only look. I love Amazon. Like, they've changed my life. I love Amazon. But there is a danger in them getting too powerful, right? And once they hold all the cards, then the game changes.
And that's what this is. And I don't fault them for it, because
I don't fault them for it at all.
But that is something that obviously they're trying to dominate the marketplace. They want people to get used to going only to Amazon. And we're playing right into their hands the more we do this. We collectively, as a community of indies.
Right, and that's dangerous. That is dangerous long term for authors. There needs to be more than one game in town, and like, I don't fault anything Amazon's doing. I would do many of the same things. I think what they're doing is, it's like Dave and I have had this conversation about Disney's Infinity, which is both evil. Like,
yes. Oh, yes. I hate it. Just like Skylanders.
Yes, it's evil, but it's also genius. And like the guy who came up with that, he needs a high five.
A boardroom, you mean?
Yeah. He needs a high five and a punch in the stomach at the same time.
Yes, right. That's exactly how I feel about it, and that's how I feel about what Amazon is doing. I think that they're an amazing company who's done amazing things and will continue to do so, but. And they took the power away from the traditional publishers, but we don't want them to all of a sudden inherit a whole new suite of problems that we have to deal with. And I feel like this is what's happening one step at a time. I feel like if the more exclusivity there is there, now fortunately it's only 90 days at a time, but you just never know. It's a slippery slope.
So by that logic, then we're being complete hypocrites by doing this.
Well, but also
no, we're not, because it's
no,
right.
We are right.
Right, we are experimenting, and again, I'll keep going back to it. I'm okay with doing this with Yesterday's Gone because it's it's a 90-day exclusivity, and then it's going to be.
And the fact that you're selling it first changes the whole game, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're selling it first. We're giving it to our subscribers first. Like, they're going to get it next week.
Right, the Sterling and Stoners, although. Well, I don't want to bring that up now, but we're changing the name of that group.
You can bring
they're
that up.
going to get it first.
Yeah, they're going to get it first.
Your thing.
So we're already doing our version of this thing. We're just saying, yes, it makes sense to capitalize. Because look, we want to do the right thing. We also don't want to be idiots. But I never would have been okay with pulling Yesterday's Gone, all the other seasons from all the other stores. That just fundamentally goes against everything that I feel about what we're doing, and I'm just not that concerned about short-term sales. I'm concerned about what we're building long-term, what we're saying as part of the community, how we're treating our readers. Like, those things are so much more important to me than driving revenue. But having said that, does it make sense to drive revenue on Yesterday's Gone Season 5 and maximize the first 90 days? Yeah, absolutely, of course.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a complicated thing, and I think that deliberately avoiding it is just as dumb.
We have a comment again from Mike Serio. For what it's worth, I've kept the first book in a series on Kobo, etc., to keep that book perma-free on Amazon. Books 2 through 5 are on KDP Select, so I can take advantage of Kindle Unlimited, and I make more through Kindle Unlimited than via regular sales. The full 5-book series will be on Kobo and other sites to preserve some semblance of a funnel. First free book and then the whole series on those sites seems to be working well.
Well, but wait a minute. He said whole series on other sites.
Well, I guess. Well, after the 90
after the exclusivity,
I'm guessing.
Right.
And I feel guilt here because we're using Kobo and Barnes and Noble to make the book perma-free, and then not delivering it right away to those places.
Right.
And as a person, I feel horrible, and I don't
really should be called.
But at the same time, I have all
Amazon is
at the same time I have all these authors like Darren Wearmouth chattering in my ear saying, Kindle Select is fucking awesome. I'm making billions. Not literally, but just authors are just doing so well at something, and it really does now. It rewards the episodic thing. That we initially, in 2011 when we started doing episodes before many other people were doing that, it cost us to deliver by episodes. Now it's almost worthwhile, and we are doing episodes for this because it'll be like $1 something per borrow, which will come out to close to the royalty or whatever that we sell for the full season.
I actually have no intellectual objection to giving a 90-day exclusivity as long as it ends on the 90th day and then we go cross-platform. Like that's okay. That's just smart business. And especially if we can, because
as long as it's done first.
Yes, I love writing serials. I love the creative nature of them. I think we structure our stories differently, and I love the aspect of people reading them one at a time and getting the cliffhangers, and that's all really fun. But basically, when Amazon released Amazon serials, or even before that, it became very, very difficult to profit on the serial nature of it. Now that has changed, and if that changes for the better, and we can capitalize on the that 90-day period, then that's fine. But to take our whole catalog and make it exclusive, or to rewrite history and pull things from other platforms, I think that fundamentally changes the argument.
So I guess this is a wait and see. We'll have to report how this goes. We're doing this imminently. Yesterday's Gone, season 5, October 15th, right?
Yeah.
And then, okay, and it's available in our members library now, or
next week.
But it will be next week, yeah, and it'll be available for sale.
Which is not going to be called Stoners. This is a good little psychological hook thing. We got some pushback from our continuity, the people who get our Netflix, our HBO of ebooks, where we're giving you the newest stuff and audiobooks and all this other stuff. That was we call that Sterling and Stoners, or just Stoners for short. And we got some pushback, like, okay, well, I'm not. I resent the idea of being a stoner. And the other thing is, it really conflicts with starter, which is what everybody is for free when they get the free stuff. And so, are we officially changing that like right now?
I actually changed it this morning. I updated the page. The URL is still Sterling and Stoner, but the page itself is Platinum Reader.
We can make a redirect on that. So they're now called Platinum Readers, is our continuity.
Maybe I should put an extra T in the Platinum.
Dork.
Yeah, that would be pretty dorky.
That'd be good for your platform. Hey, Willie!
Oh, Lordy.
End of the episode.
Did you really just throw a Hey Willie in there?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think that finishes the main discussion. The only other thing that's sort of happening right now is Fiction Unboxed 1.5. Have we run any posts on that? We haven't.
No, they're coming up. But if you're a formerly a Sterling and Stoner and a present day Platinum Reader, you'll get your 50% coupon off for that as soon as it goes live.
So it's 1.5 for a reason. We're going to write the sequel to the Dream Engine. So the people who wanted to see how a book was written from scratch this time will see how a sequel is written and integrated with the other canon works from the summit attendees and the first book and the particular problems of a serial. But we're going to do the 30-day thing, but it'll be broadcast only, and so there won't be live components and voting and all that stuff. But
I think there's some pretty good elements because of that, actually. When we're able to organize it more, not a course exactly, but a little more, because with the first Fiction Unboxed, we were literally making it up as we went along. So we didn't really know what to do, and now we have all that experience to help build out 1.5. And it's not, we're specifically not calling it Fiction Unboxed 2 because there will be a Fiction Unboxed 2, and it will be bigger and better and grander, and the ideas will be, we'll explore different elements. This one really is like a true sequel to the first Unboxed. But just in developing the Dreamworld engine, when we were writing the sales page for it just this morning, I went to go look at the size of the Scrivener file because I wanted to put that in the sales copy, because it's kind of amazing how big it's getting. And day 2 of Fiction Unboxed 1.5 is going to be a tour of this Scrivener file. And the original Scrivener file for Dream Engine 1, which had kind of a lot of images in it, was about 35 megs. And this one is already 300. And
yeah, Sean keeps letting me know how complicated the world building is getting. So anybody who's interested in world building and stuff,
it's crazy. But I'm so like absurdly proud of them so far. And I've never built anything this big before. But the Dream Engine 2 is I haven't even really started on the story yet. It's all still just like figuring out the world and the timeline and all of that. And it's very, very exciting. Like I think that this series is going to be amazing, and the world is getting more and more amazing. And people have been asking about the World Docs 2.0, and I will have those actually when I'm ready to pass the Dream Engine 2 Scrivener file to Johnny is when I'll have those, and it'll basically be like a timeline for the whole thing, and I'll update that, and it looks like that'll be within the next couple weeks or so.
A lot of people are already writing in the world, which is great. So we'll have blog posts about it, but it's sterlingandstone.net/fiction-unboxed-1-5, which is a little clumsy, but whatever. So I'm looking forward to that because we got that coming up.
But yeah, if you're already a Platinum reader, don't buy it off of that URL, right? Because you'll get a new URL in your
it'll be in the members
area.
library. It's only $39 bucks, which was like the early Kickstarter price for the full one, which is now twice that. So it's it's not live, but it's a lot less expensive. That's why it's 1.5. But the the Platinum readers, 1T, 2Ts, get it for 19. Get it for 19.
1T.
All right, so I guess that's it. I can't wait to see what happens with the Kindle stuff or the KDP Select stuff.
I'm really curious.
I kind of want the whole. I don't like it when there's gaming. Like I don't like that. I don't like it when it's like if you do this tactic, you will do really well. Like I know that you need to seize tactics when you can, but for me, we've always said we like tactics when they don't conflict with strategies, and for me, this conflicts.
Yeah, this tactic teabags our strategies, and that's not cool.
So there's that. All right, well then we will end this episode of the Self-Publishing Podcast. And if you'd like to get our best advice without all of our off-topic bullshit, be sure to pick up our book, Write, Publish, Repeat, the No Luck Required Guide to Self-Publishing Success at selfpublishingpodcast.com/WPR. And if you've ever really wanted to know how a novel gets written, you can, of course, watch at fictionunboxed.com. Oh, I forgot to mention there's actually a bundle deal now where you can get Unboxed 1, 1.5, and Scrivener for Beats series in a bundle. So that'll redirect from fictionunboxed.com too. So thanks so much for listening, and we will see you next week, folks.
Peace out.